Financial news now. The Volker Rule for banks and investment firms is now on the books. All U.S. regulatory agencies have now approved the rule, and it says, as simply as possible, that a bank or firm can speculate on financial markets or can have a government safety net, but you can't have both. Now, before the Volker Rule, if Uncle Sam gave you a guarantee like the FDIC's on deposits, banks could do whatever they wanted. Now, those firms, they're not allowed to play the market for their own benefits, proprietary trading. The rule might have prevented the London whale scandal of the JP Chase that cost them $6 billion. It would not, most experts agree, though, have prevented the 2008 recession. All right, Richard, I'll do my Three Bears analogy. Does this go far enough?
Oh, the details of it are subject to experience. We'll know that over time. But it's just
Is it enforceable?
Yeah, it's easily enforceable, and it's common sense. If you want the government to guarantee your behaviors, then don't engage in stupidly risky behaviors. Yep. It's common sense that it took this long, shows you how really powerful the banks still are.
Before the break, I said to you, what is it? Because that's the common joke on Wall Street right now. It still is totally unclear some of the rules and where it's going to go and how far it's going to go. It took them years to come up with a final language on this whole thing. At this point, and they're saying that it could take years as it tests itself out to figure out exactly what they can do and can't do.
And why
my
is
fear,
that?
let me just my fear on this is that it goes too far, and that you're taking institutions that create jobs and create wealth, which is what America's about. This is the same.
Yes, jobs.
Right,
but what you're talking about,
create jobs. They manipulate money. Entrepreneurs create jobs.
You're talking about a government that also has gone out and fined JP Chase $13 billion
which is a slap
for
on
something
the wrist compared to what they've already
for
made.
something they did as a favor to the government when they bought a bank.
Oh, that is the most liberal interpretation of what that's down. Come on.
Take back the word liberal.
Fair enough.
But when it comes to the application of the Volker Rule or any of these rules, who was doing all the lobbying? Who had all the input with all these regulatory agencies to figure out exactly how it was going to be applied? These same banking industry, they flood the regulations with money and access into the industry
so nobody
going forward.
Confused. Isn't
I
some
wouldn't worry
bleeding heart
about this
liberal.
rule.
No, but it was
He was a
committee.
Republican
It wasn't
appointee in a Republican administration here, and he even said he didn't get what he thought was a pretty straight line here, the idea of commercial investment and also the idea that they can't be able to keep their own books in their own way and not share all the information and not be upfront. The idea is transparency. It seems to make sense to me. But the most compelling argument I thought you were going to make was, why do, in effect, we're in a global financial world right now, on a financial playing field. Are U.S. firms, financial institutions, at a disadvantage compared to their European and Asian counterparts?
If they want to be banks, they're under no disadvantage. If they want to be gamblers, they're under a disadvantage. In the long run, the security of the system that the United States has put into place will more than benefit the general economy.
Yeah. Is Goldman Sachs a bank? Or,
they have to decide.
Not? But that, in other words, you could have this much of your business being a bank and you still have problems with that. I took a Supreme Court case of the Supreme Court challenging the constitutionality of Sarbanes-Oxley. Okay? And the reason was for that same thing. It raises the cost of doing business upwards of 5% on the companies it first makes it cover.
Get out of the business of being a stock trader.
No, not a trader. But
you don't have a problem.
But what this does is, the question is how much more it's going to cost to operate as an institution and how much opportunistic investment is going to take away.
Why isn't it as simple as, really, it used to be you were a commercial bank, okay, or you were an investment bank. Why they decided to put them both under one house? To say that, my gosh, you're handcuffing me. No one made you put both basically lines of business under one roof. Why shouldn't you be
Well, but they did that when the laws changed.
Okay.
It became an opportunity.
But then we saw
and it allowed them to do so.
No. They did so because it increases their stock price. But they got the laws changed so that they could do this, so they could make more profits, so that would increase their stock price. This isn't about being a good financial firm or being a good bank. This is about being the most profitable entity it can possibly be. That's not necessarily the strongest or the best for the economy. It's just bigger and better for the shareholders.
But when they have an opportunity to invest their money and to buy other assets, and that's what's been the rule for years, and now you're going to go change the rules and handcuff them.
When they're a bank, it's the depositor's money.
Right.
What part of that don't you get?
Because
they want to take their equity and gamble with it. Knock yourself out. Don't put depositors' money at risk. What's hard about this?
Because it goes beyond the depositor's money. At what point is it not the depositor's money and it's the firm's money?
Put a Chinese wall up between the two,
money.
and you don't have a problem.
But the law isn't clear.
Obi, it's as simple as that. There was a wall in between the two. They knocked the wall down. My money's still in the bank. I should have a right here to feel completely secure. The bank wants to have it both ways. They want to be able to use my money however they see fit. They still want the government to protect them. I mean, for you to be as down as you are on the government, right? Yeah. And then the big government and everything else, and you still want them to cover their you-know-what backsides here. If another 08 happens, it's the height of hypocrisy.
How much government regulation are we going to continue to have on these
These
institutions?
are talking points. These aren't arguments. Get past
these are
the
thoughts
phrases.
that I have as you're speaking, Richard. That's what these are.
Get past the phrases. If you want to be a bank, be a bank. If you want to be an investment house, be an investment house. Keep it separate.
And if you're going to do both,
it's
you're under
still
certain conditions. You got to keep
ramifications this is going to have. And by the way, remember we're sitting in New York too. How much of this business that we have, and how much of the job creation in this city do we have, in the region, that are based upon the banking opportunities we have?
We're going to switch gears when we come back, and we are going to obviously talk about what we will be reminded of this Friday and Saturday, and that is as we approach the year anniversary of the Newtown Massacre. And we've been asking you folks at home to weigh in, and you have. We'll get into some of that right after this.